Let me ask you a question. What makes a hero? Many of you probably said different words that contain the same meaning, but philosophically speaking, a hero is somebody whose actions consist of helping others, even if it puts themselves at risk, i.e. someone jumping on a grenade to save a group of people. So, that's great. We know what makes a hero, but who's the greatest hero? What makes somebody the most heroic? Is it whoever saves the most people? Or let's take Batman and Superman for example. Is Batman more heroic because he's actually risking his life every time he fights crime compared to Superman, who will be pretty much fine 100% of the time as long as the person he is fighting doesn't have kryptonite? Or, theoretically, Superman is powerful enough to just take over Earth, but instead he chooses to help people. Does that make him more heroic than Batman, who doesn't have the chance to be corrupted by that much power? Today, I'm going to try to answer these questions about heroism using a character that at first glance, many of you wouldn't even stick in your top 10 most heroic characters list. Today, we are talking about the popular show Gravity Falls, and more specifically, the character Grunkle Stan.
The censor that show.
Now, to accurately rank how heroic Stanley is, we are going to put every possible heroic action, good or bad, that he makes into two categories: heroic and unheroic. Our first topic is protection. How many people did Stanley save? Did he do it morally or immorally? And you're probably asking, how can somebody save someone immorally? Well, it's a big reason why characters like Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman have no kill rules, because if Spider-Man has to kill the entire Sinister Six to save one person, did he actually save the person morally? It's a philosophical question some of you may know as the trolley problem, and it has no real answer. So today it will be up to us to decide if his actions are morally justified. Now, Stanley has done a lot of saving throughout the entire show. Most of the time it's him saving Dipper and Mabel, but his greatest feat isn't shown until the finale, when he saves the entire universe, which in some people's eyes that feat makes him more heroic than the MCU's Iron Man, who only saved half the universe. But now the question needs to be asked, did he save the universe morally? And I think the simple answer that most all of you will give is yes. As all of you know, to save the universe he had to erase Bill from existence, but what happened to the creatures Bill summoned and created? Well, when Bill was erased, the creatures he summoned were returned to their original dimension, and the ones he created ceased to exist. As fast as they had gotten here, they were gone. And the reason why I ask this question is because weren't those creatures that Bill created living? Weren't they self-aware? Could they have redeemed themselves if they weren't erased? To answer this question, let me show you a clip from one of the end credit crawls of the Weird Mageddon episodes.
Whoa! We survived! Where are we? Are we real? Is this reality? John Paul Sartre postulated that every existing thing is born without reason, prolongs itself out of weakness, and dies by chance. Totally righteous, bro. I know!
So yes, these creatures are living, they do have feelings, they feel pain, happiness, sadness, and anger, but they aren't living like us. You see, when Bill was erased, so were they, meaning their relationship to Bill is similar to some parasites' relationships with their hosts. But now we have to ask the question, did Grunkle Stan know he was going to create a chain reaction that killed all of these possibly redeemable creatures? And the answer is no, he didn't. So can you really hold him accountable? And I mean, you could, but hypothetically, let's say you go to the store and pick out a salad. You pay for it, walk home, and then eat it. Unbeknownst to you, the veggies in that salad were grown and picked by underpaid and overworked employees. And you yourself just put money into the pockets of the CEOs overworking them. And you're accountable. Because if you just spent a few hours researching, you could have found a salad that was 5 times more expensive and actually made by good people. But you didn't have the time to research because you had to work a 9-to-5 job, and you didn't have the money to pay for that expensive salad because you had to pay rent. And you're probably wondering why I just gave you that lengthy hypothetical, and it's because it applies perfectly to the situation Stan is in. Stan didn't have the time to figure all this stuff out. He knew that it was a trolley problem. Bill and the creatures' lives, or the entire universe's lives. I would say in this iteration of the trolley problem, Stanley made the most morally correct decision that he could. Now, with that being said, we can move on to our next topic. What did Stanley himself sacrifice or risk to save the universe? In the finale to save the universe, Stanley sacrifices all of his memories that he has garnered throughout his entire life. Now, there are philosophically two ways to view this sacrifice. You can think that when humans are born, we are born with an essence or purpose given to us by a higher power, a god, and we are simply living to fulfill that purpose, meaning that in Stanley's case, this could be considered his purpose, and after his memories are gone, he still is technically the same person, meaning he didn't sacrifice his life, he only sacrificed his memories. Or, you can think that humans are born, we make our own actions, and we create our own purpose, basically saying humans first exist, and as we live, we create our essence. Meaning when Stanley's memories were erased, so was his current essence, and now every action he makes after that would be as if he was a different person. Using this thought process, Stanley didn't just sacrifice his memories, but also his life. You can believe either one you want, but for the purpose of this video, we are going to be using belief number 2. Also, I don't think I need to tell you this, but the most heroic thing a hero can do is put down their life to save someone else's, which is exactly what Stanley did.
Exactly what Stanley did.
Quit it, Waddles! I'm trying to remember my life story!
What did you say?
I said get Waddles off of me!
It's working. Keep reading.
Okay, so obviously I have to address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that Stanley got his memories back a few minutes after they were erased, which takes a lot of the heroism out of the sacrifice. But what it doesn't take the heroism out of is the decision to make the sacrifice, which is probably where 99% of the heroism comes from when heroes make a sacrifice. And the reason why it doesn't affect Stanley's decision is because it's not like Stanley knew he could get his memories back when he made the decision. He thought it was permanent. For that reason, I would say Stanley once again did the most morally heroic thing he could. Our final topic is corruption. Was there any power throughout the series that could have corrupted Stanley? Yes, there were plenty of things, but I want to focus on one of those things. The interdimensional portal. We are shown multiple times throughout the series how powerful this machine is, and the destruction it can cause. Also, I know a lot of you may think Stanley isn't smart enough to understand the destruction it can cause, and the way I see it is if he's smart enough to fix the machine and have a timer that shows him when the machine will go off, then he's probably smart enough to understand the destruction it can cause. Meaning, if he was truly evil, he could probably cause a lot of chaos. So it's a closed case. Stanley meets all of the qualifications to be considered the universe's greatest hero. Provided you glance over him scamming innocent people, almost killing Waddles, breaking his brother's science project, and trapping his brother in a different dimension, along with all of the other horrific crimes he's committed. Okay, so Stanley isn't a perfect hero, but that's because no hero is perfect. At the end of the day, every hero is human, and I don't mean literally because some of them aren't actually human, but whether it's Iron Man's alcoholism or Spider-Man dealing with his personal life, every hero is imperfect. And I could go on and on for longer calculating which heroes have made the least mistakes, but this video is about Grunkle Stan, and why he's my favorite on-screen hero. If you want to be a hero, then smash that subscribe button in the next 3 seconds. Did you do it? Thanks.